First of all, confession, I'm not a marketer. I was a technologist. I converted to the world of marketing about 8 years ago. My kind of job today is really kind of simple. It's to kind of tell you what we do, tell you why we do it, and to give you some of the lessons and reflections that I've had over the past sort of 2 years of leading this team, and maybe some of those things that you could then transfer to your business into your job to sort of maybe take forward. I'm not going to talk about social media, I'm not going to talk about DM directly, I'm going to talk about how you connect it into how you think about your customers and how you think about your audience. Although a lot of these things will come through. So it's not necessarily talking about how to use technology to market, like social media. It's very much the inverse of how you get it to impact the customer. So know your audience. So I told you about IT pros and developers, and the instant reflection is they're geeks, and that's true, by the way, on the whole. But we said, okay, and Microsoft's a big company, we are coming down with market intelligence. We've got it coming out of our ears. It's very hard to kind of process it sometimes. So if you were a Star Wars character, what Star Wars character would you be? And funnily enough, it very much aligns to the way that we characterized it. So to give you an example, our developers are Luke Skywalker and the hero of the story, or Han Solo, that rugged hero of the story, the one that uses Microsoft technology, the one that doesn't use Microsoft technology currently. Droids, the IT pros, the geeky guy that comes and fixes your computer, so like R2-D2 and C-3PO. And then the all-knowing kind of Yodas and Jedi Masters were our decision makers. The lesson I think that I would hope that you could go away with is bring your customer to life. Don't say your customer is an IT professional. Bring your customer to life by saying, well, these are the motivations they have inside of work. Professional, commercial, economic, personal, this is my ambition. So an interesting anecdote for the technical audience. Developers don't want to be promoted up the organization, they want to be promoted across the organization. So developers who you think, well, I want to get my boss's job, as we kind of all think about, or a lot of people think about, they think, how can I get on that new project where that new technology is? So rather than saying, well, you can be a better developer, or rather than saying you can become an architect, we say, well, why don't you try this new technology and think about it in a different way? Really, really simple way of changing the way we think about communications. So, big thing was that, in our audience, and there's 1 million IT pros out of that 2 million plus people, they have on the whole, they have low influence over purchasing decisions. They're typically the unsung heroes, right? We kind of see them as geeks in the corner who come along and fix your PC or deploy new software. But they make your business run, right? Without IT and technology, CRM systems fail, call centers fail, laptops fail, email systems go down. If you've got a cloud-based email system with a G in the start of it and it went down for a couple of days, you're going to really feel it, right? Your business is going to stop. So these are the guys that keep the wheels and keep the engines and keep the lights on. So what we did was really simply, we knew that we can't make them purchase, but what we can do is help them become a sort of visible hero, and also help them help their customers. So really, the lesson is just give them the assets so they can go off and be the heroes to their customers, and I think you'll get a lot of reciprocation in return. So it's really about thinking about what your objectives are and why your audience wants to come to events. To give you an idea of how we think about the Star Wars personas, the Han Solo developer, the trendy web developer from Shoreditch, or the guy that's working in Derby in a technical company, they probably want to come to events for different reasons. The guy who's working in a very safe and he wants to kind of learn and skill up on the latest technology, virtual events are perfect. Han Solo and trendy Shoreditch developer, they want to come along and they want to kind of meet people and hear really great ideas so they can go off and figure it out themselves. And we just think about trying to target in different ways. So that's kind of the lesson over physical and virtual. So how do we talk to 2 million customers? Well, we produce a heck of a lot of content, and we have a lot of our own channels that cover our own customers, but we also have a lot of customers we don't have contact with. So we figure out smart ways to get that message out there. We go to events and the conversation's happening about X, and X might be something called HTML5. Microsoft goes along and talks about IE9, that's relevant to HTML5. We connect the two together. But what we do is we figure out a way of adding value to that conversation, and we use what I would call a social object. Something that I can give to Diane, and Diane will want to go away and talk about, and we watch for people talking about that object. So this is one of our beautiful evangelists. This is Movember, by the way, if you can tell from the tash. But we were at the .NET Awards and we had a photo booth, and you could come along to the photo booth and you could get your photo taken in this kind of cool photo booth, and we'll give you a little kind of postcard of your drunken antics. But also we'll tweet that photo for you onto the internet. And what we saw hundreds of people who were straight on their iPhones or their Windows Phone 7s or their Blackberries going, where is the tweet from you, Belly? This is the team that Alex leads. And going, okay, I want to retweet that, I want to scale that message out. And you know what? We stuck IE9 messaging with it. So we got the awareness level from something that would have been a conversation of about 600 people, or maybe less, who attended that event. And we were sending out to thousands of people. And we were very able to meet and measure the different people online afterwards. And it all starts with identify, knowing your audience, identifying with them, bringing them to life. Inject personality, think about content, get the conversation going around your brand or your product or your service, and really think about connecting the real world and the virtual world together through maybe your event strategy. But if I wanted you to go away, kind of apart from the fine touch and thrill, I would just say think about rational marketing when you're talking about your products, but also think about the emotional side of the people you're talking to. And if you're in the fortunate position of us of marketing technology to technology people, you've got to think about it, because they're such a passionate audience and they definitely connect the two together.
And then tying that back to measurements through web metrics or through PR metrics and mentions and articles or other customer satisfaction, those are all really vitally important today. And it's not about sending out a direct mail and getting 2 or 5% response anymore. It's about am I leading and driving a conversation, and how do I measure that?
Measurement is, for public relations, always seen as that sort of dark art, but I think it does have a very powerful opportunity, as long as you're smart about it and you're pragmatic about it. We always want to know whether that coverage has resulted in a sales or a partner lead. It's great, but a lot of it can be much more about, have we shifted a company perception? Have we raised that within a certain audience?
A lot of the initiatives that we're actually working with, that are actually working fairly well, are about getting sort of customers into sort of advisory and sort of round table type environments. Not as broad as the sort of satisfaction surveys that we were talking about earlier, but really sort of qualitative sort of environments where you can actually get feedback from customers. You can actually build on that feedback. You can use that feedback in a certain amount of NPD as well, in terms of sort of moving things forward.